Hi everybody. How you doing? Happy Sunday. It's Leslie here. Leslie Plazz, Zazoo Plazz, out here in the woods. So, it took me a while today to get out here. The other gate, where I usually go closer to my house, was all snowed in. I couldn't squeeze through. It was all iced up. So I had to walk. It's kind of the universe's way of making me explore, which is kind of the theme today, is escape. It's a 5-day for me. That means I had to get out, explore new places, new ideas. It's great, and there's so much more room over here. The frozen pond is right behind me, and there's the school that way, and the sun is right in front of me, and I got this branch hanging over my head, and I got a little helper branch over there that I hung my little bag on with my other glove. I got one glove. I got one hand free for the camera. I'm all set. How is everybody? I hope you're well, and if you got snow, hope you're warm, safe. Some people down south don't have Texas, they don't have power. So I hope everybody gets power back soon, and because it's so necessary. And meanwhile, I'm just enjoying the winter, because we get to the point in February where, Valentine's Day is over and St. Patrick's Day is not quite here. It's kind of, and then you get the feeling, you start seeing shopping for clothes online and trying to use up my coupons, and I see shorts, short sleeves, tank tops. So some people I know are in warm places, have escaped to southern climes for a few days. You know who you are, and enjoy. But yeah, I'm not there. I'm here where it's cold. That's better. Cutting off the top of my head there. And you know what? I have the attitude of, oh no, winter's almost over. I better enjoy it. I better get out of here. Soak the juices. I'm of the point of view of enjoy every season. Soak its juices up. And I like to start each day journaling. Here it is, February 21st, 2021. It's a lot of twos. I like to go on my astrology app and notice we just passed over into Pisces from Aquarius. And I like to note whose famous people's birthdays are on certain days. And then that kind of gives me something to chew on while I'm working out in the morning after I have my lemon water and my collagen. It's good for your hair and your nails, and you just stir it into your water, and yeah, it's a no-brainer. And I talk about that in the book, Zazoo Plazz, of course. So today I noticed, as this all is going to tie in, we'll come back around. Erma Bombeck's birthday. She would have been 94. She was born in 1927. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today. And yesterday was Kurt Cobain's birthday. He was the lead singer of Nirvana, very Gen X band, and had a lot of, generational planets for those of us born in the mid-60s. And that all ties in because Erma Bombeck started her column. She started her writing career as we know it. Of course, for those of you who don't know, not familiar with Erma Bombeck, she was a very famous author, humorist, author. She started writing newspaper columns, and then she published many books, and including If Life is a Bowl of Cherries, Why I'm in the Pits, something like that, something stuck in the pits, something about It's Greener Over the Septic Tank. You can I'll put those in the thing. I don't know the exact titles, but they were written by Erma Bombeck. Very funny lady. For her, and she was the generation of my parents, the Pluto and Cancer folks. But she was the very beginning of that. So I had an aunt who was kind of, like that. The parents of the boomers who were born in like the, I don't know, I guess the late 40s through the 50s. And sort of before my parents' generation. My parents were very late 30s. So there's a world of difference there. So I looked her up and I saw that she had a lot of water, hardly any air, water and earth. But she did have her moon in Libra, which is my ascendant. So that's air, actually. She had some air. Nothing in the third house, which is where I have most of my Sagittarius main planets. So clearly, Irma probably wouldn't have been tromping around in the woods and, playing philosopher amongst the trees, playing Harriet the Spy. Well, it hadn't been written yet. But, we both had short hair and we kind of go like this a lot. And clearly, we have in common that we are both moms. She was a mom and, stayed at home with the kids. And therein was the source of a lot of her humor. And let's face it, folks, you don't have to look much beyond the home, the life of the female. And I'm saying female, the nurturer. So these days it could be a guy. Some men are nurturers. My husband's a Pisces. He's very nurturing, probably more than I am. He's the one who tends to all the boo-boos, and he's the one you want if you're if somebody's going into shock or somebody's bleeding profusely. He's the guy. He's the guy who's helping the 17-year-old right now fix his car. He bought those lift things to protect you in case the jacks fail when you're jacking up your car. I mean, I wouldn't know that stuff. Anyway, but I'm still the main chef and bottle washer, and although he knows where everything goes in the dishwasher better than I, he claims to load a better dishwasher. I don't know about that, but he probably does because he's an engineer. Anyway, I digress. So, she was of the generation, of service to others, but in more of a male-dominated society, where, she would come to fame as working as a woman in the newspaper industry, which was, mostly male-dominated. Her wisdom came from her experience of life of service to others, service to husband, service to children, service to home, community, church, whatever. By contrast, I was born in the mid-60s, a time of great upheaval, and at the same time, awareness of alternative thought, alternative medicines, alternative, whatever, ways of thinking, ways of being, hippies, flower children, war, upheaval, computers. My dad worked in computers. My mom stayed home, but she wasn't home. She was a woman of service but not of service like Irma's generation. My mom was ahead of her time. She was, her mind was, she had cosmic awareness. My mother is still with me, and I'm thankful. She was very instrumental in introducing me to an alternative world. And when you think about the male and the female, the male is the going out in the world energy, right? And it's not a gender thing. The female is, the dark. Male energy is light, and there's, we need both. My mother schooled me in this, I guess some people would call it a cult, but that's taken on a bad connotation. What it really means is the hidden, the things that are not seen. And for a writer, that was huge. And it nurtured me in a way. As computers were coming out and my dad was working on computers, she was balancing that with healthy food. She was grounding us. And I didn't realize it at the time, but had I not had both, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now, which is, create a website while cooking for my family, while researching, things to keep us healthy, ways of being in a world that requires you to screen out the distraction of multitudes of information and, artificial intelligence clamoring for your eyeballs and for your soul, right? This is a world that Erma did not live in. And yet, it is as essential to find the humor, and perhaps more essential to find the humor in this new world as it was at her time. She was talking to housewives, people who had security, had physical security, and yet had a sense of something else is needed. I need to raise my spirits. I need to look beyond this physical world that I'm in, and I need to be lifted up by somebody who can see what it's all for. I found this picture. It's popped into my head today. There's me. I was 14, 1980, and I'm sitting in my little corner of my bedroom with the orange carpet. On one hand, I got my little stereo here, my records. On the other hand, I got my books, all my little knickknacks and my little stuffed elephants that I made, and my little Amish lady. And there's a Japanese doll and a doll from New Orleans that my parents had bought me when they traveled to those places. We went to the Pennsylvania Dutch. So you can see a lot of little things there lined up. And those were, National Geographics. There I am in my jeans, my turtleneck with the shirt over, and my little owl. So this is pretty much, and it's amazing, the precursor of my office that I have now. Now I have my computer on my dining room table, and to my right, I've got my books, and I've got my music on of course, YouTube or Amazon, wherever I get my music. And as I did then, I draw inspiration from all those things. TV, TV wasn't in the, I had one in my room, but it wasn't until later. But I would draw I would draw my inspiration from all of those things, draw it in, and then it would come out in my writing, in my life, the things that I found meaningful, in my, I guess, service to others, even, as a freshman in high school, 1980. And I feel, there's a plane flying overhead. Probably on the way to Bradley International Airport, which is over there. But, so I wanted to talk also about Kurt Cobain because, his life ended tragically. But I think that what he was trying to get across was what it really means to be a member of Gen X, and as an early member of Gen X. And usually when they called us slackers. Now that, I can understand why that would be frustrating, because there's no way that we're we are a generation of, we want to progress. We want to make everything better, okay? And I think how we were confused and trying a lot of different things was we just didn't know how to do that. The energy and the technology weren't around yet. We were making the best of what we had as we went along. But now is a time when we have the energy, we have the technology, that we can do what we came here to do. And it's something that, I think maybe frustrated artists like Kurt Cobain, because they had the vision and they just couldn't, they couldn't see their vision into reality yet. There was this great visionary ability and creativity that was lying dormant within all of us. We weren't satisfied with our parents' lives, in a different way that the boomers went, they rebelled against it. And then to us, it seemed like they kind of settled and said, well, here we are, isn't that enough? And then they caused a lot of, upheaval that, Gen Xers now, we feel like we've been heads down, kind of making our little way in the world. And there's the sun shining on me. I feel like I have to address the fact that, many of us have created happy lives and we have happy stories. And that just hasn't been reported, maybe because it doesn't sell airtime, Maybe it's not as glamorous as as rock stars. Well, we're all rock stars. I mean, all of us in our own ways, not just Gen Xers. But there's a bunch of us who really feel like we came here to give a message, and it's not to put down anybody, and I think that the sentiment came from just feeling stuck in the middle and just not having an outlet. And I think, given an outlet, we can share the wisdom that we have, because we have wisdom, we have stuff to tell you. And those of you listening, if you feel what I'm saying, you need to share. It's time. You need to share what you came here to share. Whether speaking, writing, creating, whatever it is, singing, now's the time that we need that. So, and not in a way where I'm not looking to draw, clearly for standing out here in the woods, not for myself, but for the greater world in which I'm living. And I think the message, bottom line, is yes, sharing that laughter, sharing that humor, saying, we've got to put down the phones. We've got to direct our attention in distinct ways, in loving ways that speak to our souls, and selectively use those tools, those wonderful technology tools at our to serve us. And rather than have them really distract us from, shopping. That's the new thing. I'm not going to shop on my phone anymore, because it's like it's like that vision, that site where you go and you get sucked into the abyss of never to be seen again, with contacts stuck to my eyeballs and drooling, emerging 2 hours later having not achieved anything, and berating myself for the rest of the day. That is the dark side of the internet, as far as I'm concerned. Shopping. And people who post like capsule wardrobes and macaroni and cheese recipes. If I want a mac and cheese recipe, I'm going to look for one on my laptop and I'm going to choose it, and that's it. I did find a good one this week, actually, but so yeah, I guess I'm probably running a little long today, but yeah. So in closing, escapism. So here I come full circle, um, using the lessons of the past, not as a means to escape, but to build a better tomorrow, a kinder world. It's funny pulling it all together. Last night I saw a movie with Owen Wilson and Selma Hayek. It was called Bliss, and it's fairly new. And I won't ruin it if you want to go see it. It was very out there. And my husband did not watch it with me. And usually we do that just so we can bounce things off. Did I just see that? And then he'll say, oh, I noticed this. And I'll say, oh, I noticed that. So we're weird together. But it makes sense. So, in other words, in this movie, the bottom line was there were two worlds going on. One that was said to be an illusionary world, and one that was said to be the real world. And one was all beauty and light and goodness and nothing ever went wrong, and the other one was a little darker, darker shades, darker, emotions, and then so the thing was the search for Nirvana. Which world is he going to stay in? And in the end he made a choice that was true to his heart. Which was not what everybody, it's not what everyone would choose. So I think Nirvana, which is the name of Kurt Cobain's band, and how do we escape? Theme of escapism. How do we escape in a way that is not harmful to us, but rather refreshes us? And it's not, for me, reading every single, I've stopped reading fiction. I don't read fiction. I read nonfiction, and mostly, kind of, I guess you would call it weird stuff, off the beaten path kind of stuff, rather than mainstream things, because I find it, learning, I need to learn new things now, and you reach a point where it's like, I want to read philosophy, mythology, astrology, alternative music, alternative. That's where I find that's my moon in Aquarius. So I can. The nice thing now is you can get the lyrics to songs. When we were growing up, it's like you would say, hello, hello, hell no. It was like hello, hello. That's all I could get out of it. And it turns out there's all these other words to that song. It's like, who knew? All these years I was wrong when I thought he was saying one thing and then he was saying something else. So this is the world of Gen X. We, we've been lied to. We've been deceived. We've misinterpreted. Who knows, right? And that's the beauty of what inspires us today. So I know that's kind of a lot, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say today. And I'm going to soak up the beauty and go make a turkey meatloaf and mashed potatoes in my pressure cooker and maybe some green beans. Oh, I'm going to make beef pot pies next week. So I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the sun and the Nirvana that is the woods next to my house. And, see what comes to me. So I hope you have a great escape, whatever feels good to you, that's good for your body and your soul and doesn't destroy, but rather it reinvigorates you for your week, for your days ahead, and that you can share it with everyone and lift everybody up. The great escape. Like blind melon, no rain. Like reading a book, they say it strips my life away, but it's a great escape. Just like that. Whatever that means for you. Have a great day, great week. See you later. Zazoo out.